Welcome back to Marbella Now. My name is Nicole King, and this is my boy.
Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. Hey, 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 it's a brand new day. Halfway twisted.
Regular viewers will know that I start off my program each week with our CIT Marbella Guest of the Week. CIT Marbella is a business networking association in Spain, and a very, very prominent one. They have lots of ins, lots of good contacts, and it's really nice that they promote all of the members. And there's like 500 different companies representing all different professions, from independent entrepreneurs to major corporations. So do check it out. Today I'm delighted to welcome Carlos to the program. It's the first time I've met him, and he's from a company called Hola Expat. Hello, Expat, right up our street. Carlos, how lovely to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
And I love the name of the company. Hola Expat,
Yeah.
Hi Expat.
Yeah, that was the idea, to have like a welcoming, like the first time you see something from us is like a welcoming message for the expats coming here.
And how
It's
long have
so
you
many.
had this business?
It's going to be around almost 2 years now.
Okay, so it's kind of a new
Yeah.
entrepreneurial
Yeah.
adventure. How have you found the first 2 years? Because the first 18 months is particularly normally difficult, challenging, let's say.
Yeah, it was challenging, but we learned a lot, and it was great having it went quite well fast, so we're very happy for that. And it was like quite an amazing ride for both of us, with Mariluz, which is my partner, is doing everything here. And it's been amazing. It's been amazing for us. We had a great time, because it's fun to start something like this. And especially having to interact with so many people from different countries, which is one of the things that interests me the most of this job. So
Particularly as they're all coming happy. They're looking forward to the move. So
Yeah.
it's like you're helping them achieve a goal, a dream. What were you doing until you did this 2 years ago?
Okay, so I'm a lawyer. I started back in Argentina, my home country, and then I came here in different areas. I've worked in the international community so much with domain names in the internet industry, and then I was a lawyer, still working in different lines of work in the legal business. So, and then I came here, my family has lived here, so I started working. And then I met Mariluz, which is my partner, and we decided to start this because both of us were really intrigued and very open to this kind of interactions with international people and trying to help them, as I came here as well. I'm an expat as well, so I know what it entails to come here. And I think that was like the Kickstarter of everything.
It makes sense. I mean, I think before the Brits are always confused, but now we are third world country like Argentina and America. And so I think it's even harder for us to negotiate the paperwork, the administration here. I'm not going to complain about it because it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I first lived here in 1980. And I could spend 3 hours lining up in the Sevillana electricity company. Took 3 years to get a phone line installed in the centre of Marbella. And so we've come a long way. There's a lot of paperwork. A lot of paperwork.
Lots of paperwork. It seems easy at the start, because everyone thinks that, okay, I can do this by myself. And then they find that, bureaucracy, as you say, is complicated. And especially if it's not your language, that also makes things a little bit more difficult. I speak Spanish as my mother tongue, and still I found it difficult at the beginning when I started my own journey, let's say. Mm-hmm. Now, Mariluz, my partner, she's a lawyer here in Spain. She's Spanish, so in a way we have that both part, which the expat side and the local professional that can, do this soft landing for
You can
expats.
be empathetic for everybody.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
really does make a big difference. I speak very good Spanish, but when it comes to my paperwork, I invariably get a gestor, an agency, a company, because apart from the time it takes to do all of these things and go through all the steps, and I speak good Spanish, but it's just confusing. Yeah. It's so confusing. Or ask my daughter. She's got a grip on it. She's like native Spanish. But it's difficult.
It's hard. It's not easy. every single procedure takes a different thing, different documents you need to present, and then of course it's the whole other thing, because we, besides providing the foreign immigration part, we also do like relocation services full. So we do real estate services, taxes. We provide the whole thing for expats when they come here, and for expats that are living here already and need some services.
Does that include also the schooling areas?
Yeah.
Because that's a very big factor when choosing a home,
Yeah.
is taken into consideration, particularly in Marbella. You could be, for example, British and buy yourself something slap bang in the middle of Sweden without even realising
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
and then have no one to chat with or share your cups of tea with because they're on something completely different.
Yeah, it's not easy. We've had families coming here and starting their kids in public school so they can start mingling with locals, which I think something we usually recommend is try to learn some Spanish, at least a little bit, because it's going to be much easier for you to come, to start working, to start living, to help your kids if you have kids coming. So that's something we usually try to encourage.
And then Nicole encourages you, once they get to secondary school, as of 11, take them to a school of your country.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you will lose them to a system that has nothing to do with most other countries. And I hate to harp on about that, but the education system hasn't really changed much from Franco's time. And
Yeah.
it's a very much you have to learn, repeat, regurgitate, no free thinking, which isn't really the way I would want my children
Yeah.
to think. So having been here for over 40 years and brought up my children here, I would
You know.
recommend that the primary, junior school is great for primary school, but then secondary school,
Yeah,
think
I mean,
twice.
there's so many options here. You still have like international schools, and then you have Marbella International University. It's very nearby.
Exactly, and we
it's
will be
great.
welcoming Dakota
Yeah.
onto the programme. She's a student ambassador, so looking forward to. In fact, we're very lucky that we do, between the Swedish, French, German. I don't think there's one nationality that doesn't have its own language school here.
No, we have the German school as well, almost in, you know.
I mean,
yeah.
like, so we have so many, and then
So many, yeah.
the ones that are combined. So I know that my daughter has a couple of schools. She's a teacher, but there's a couple of, like Albaran. It's bilingual, and they've got horse riding. So
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of good schools, but I think you need to think about it and look at the syllabus.
Yes,
Would be the only
yeah.
thing I would say, because there are the really, really Spanish, 100% Spanish. You might be a little surprised at the curriculum.
Yeah. So that's something that usually, if they have smaller kids, they come looking. Sometimes try to get them into public school for them to start.
Yeah, it's a
knowing-
good place for
and
them
then-
to start in the
yeah, but then
language.
they start like finding some other schools, international schools, where they can, you know, develop in a way that's more akin to what
So
you're
at least
used
be
to.
aware.
Yeah.
Be aware, be aware. And
Yeah.
what do you find that is the biggest mistake that all nationalities tend to make? Would it be not consulting a company like
Yeah.
Hola Expat?
Yeah, actually, it is. You don't have to do it with us, but still, it's sometimes you find people that come here without having anything, and they already sold their homes back wherever they're from, and they are on a visa, so they have 90 days to start all the paperwork, and you might need some papers from your own country, and things get complicated, so you are on a tight schedule. So we usually try to tell everyone, plan ahead. Don't just rush and do things without thinking or planning everything, because it's not so easy. As you said before, bureaucracy, it's complicated. It takes lots of time to do stuff. So yeah, maybe that would be like the best.
Yeah, and even rentals, I imagine, the 2 years you've been running, the prices have changed
So much.
dramatically,
Yeah.
the demands changed dramatically, so it must be different challenges for you to organise all those expats
Yeah.
continuously.
Yeah, I mean, we have great collaborators from different countries. We try to set upon, depending on the profile of the client, then we have different realtors, especially if you have British. For example, we have our British realtors, which sometimes is easier for you to have conversations and see
Feel more comfortable,
something
yes.
with someone of your own country. And then we have collaborators in tax advisors and realtors specialized in rentals or in purchases, because, as you said, it's so hard right now. It's not only thing of pricing, but as well as availability of space. People that don't want to rent their places for more than 4 or 5 months to have a higher price in summer. So it's complicated, so we don't get bored.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Have you noticed any quirks, particular to the English, which is different to the Norwegians, to the Swedish? Do we all have our little things that make you and your other half giggle?
Yeah, no, I mean, I have to say, we were having this conversation yesterday, and British are great payers. You don't just, we say this is the price for everything, not just for us, but for renters or purchasing. You don't have an issue with that, so that's great, because sometimes it gets the negotiations for everything.
Who
more
are the ones who
complicated.
like to negotiate the most?
Oh,
Hard to say.
hard to say.
Don't want it to get upset anybody.
No. But it's good. I think at the same time, everyone wants to earn the value for the money they're paying. So I think that's, of course, on the rights to do whatever they think they need to be done with their money. Yeah. But I think, like, especially so many Brits here, and most of our clients are from there, and we have a great relationship with them usually. So maybe they can get a little bit nervous or anxious because of the times, as you said. Like, everything takes a little bit longer maybe than in the UK. So they can get a little bit restless when they're waiting for, I don't know, a visa or some resolution from the government. But then it's fine.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I'm delighted to meet you.
Same here.
Really nice to meet you and your team that are behind the
Behind the cameras.
offset. But really nice to meet you all.
Same
and
here.
it's fabulous that you're doing so well on such a new venture,
Thanks.
but such a needed one. And I love the fact that you're saying that between your grand, you've got, well, the English realtor for the English, and we've got this, because it's understanding those little nuances, isn't it?
Yeah. It makes a big difference. As I said, I started coming here by myself, and it gets complicated. So it's nice to have someone that will understand not only your language, but also the way of thinking and your idiosyncrasy.
So you handle everything. Let's do a summary.
Yeah.
Visas, renting, lending, buying,
Yeah.
taxes,
which is super important. Everyone asks, like, the first question is, I want to go live in Spain. I can be a digital nomad, for example. What am I going to be paying in taxes? And that's the first question we have. So we have our tax advisors, which are great.
You've got legal team.
Yeah, because we have legal team especially for people here. And luckily, there's lots of squatters, for example, here. So that's something we used to handle with our clients as well, trying to get their apartments back to them. So
yeah, a lot of
we do the whole legal aspect as well, not only the immigration part.
That's another whole subject. But I have to have you back on. We can talk about just that.
Of course. It'd be a
It's
pleasure.
a world unto itself. Although the laws are changing, they just made some. It's like 1 minute they say one thing, and the next minute they say something else.
Oh, yeah.
So watch this space. Watch that space. Hola, expat.
Here.
Thank you. Adios, expat.
Adios.
Gracias.
Thank you very much for having me.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Hey, hey.
When you think of car or motorbike insurance, think Linear Director. When you most need your insurance company, Linear Director are there for you. With tow trucks, courtesy car, mechanics, legal advice, even overnight stay in a hotel if you need it. There's a whole department dedicated to us Brits with people who speak English there to help us. If you're looking for an insurance policy that really takes all your needs into consideration whilst you're driving in Spain, then Linear Director really is the company for you. Why don't you give them a call? 952 14 78 34 or contact them online.
Zero Heroes, welcome to Urban Chai.
Hey, hey.
I am delighted to welcome to the studio now a young lady from the Marbella International University Centre, MUC. Her name is Dakota, as we would say in Spanish. And I just love the name. Lovely to welcome you to the program. Miss Student Ambassador, no less.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I love the position. I basically get to go around and do cool things like this for the university and just spread the word about how amazing our studies are.
Where are you from originally, Dakota?
Washington State in the U.S.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Politics on your horizon for the future?
I study international relations and politics, so I definitely keep up with everything.
It must be the air of where you live is just like...
Yeah, a little bit. Up in the Pacific Northwest, so top left USA, and so it's a good spot to be, honestly. It's beautiful outdoors, too.
And what brought you to Marbella? I mean, obviously the university, but what made you even think of coming to Marbella to university?
To be honest, I didn't even know Marbella existed until I was looking online for international universities that's taught in English, and MIUC came up as the university, and I was really, really intrigued by it. And next thing I knew, I was applying, and it turned out to be much more affordable to go there than it was to go anywhere in the U.S., because college in the U.S. right now, the market there is kind of insane. Like, the universities that I wanted to go to were costing upward of $50,000 US a year, which is just
insane.
It's
yeah,
insane.
It's not fair.
No, it's just really not. But honestly, I'm so happy to be here.
Every adversity produces a new opportunity.
Exactly.
Look at you.
It turns out to be cheaper to move across the world than to stay in my own backyard, and I've never been happier than to be here, honestly.
How long have you been here now?
This is my second year, so yeah.
So how was the first? Because the first year, imagine America, even if you just go on types of food, then the timings that we eat our food, that's
Definitely.
a big difference.
Yes, it is.
Our days are like 3 times longer than yours.
Much longer. Definitely getting used to the more nocturnal lifestyle. Like, most people don't start heading out and hanging out until 10 to midnight type things, and whereas in the U.S. I'm home in bed by 10 to midnight.
Nothing's open.
Nothing's even open. You know, everyone's right. Unless you're in a really big city, everyone's pretty much asleep by then.
It's nice though, because even though when you're going out, it's not like, and I remember my eldest daughter and turning 21 living in the States, and she was so excited like to turn 21 to drink, and yet here you can drink, and therefore it's not such a big deal. People aren't going out to get drunk. Do you notice that different drinking culture here?
Completely. And I know Marbella is a little bit of a exclusion from that because it is a little bit more of a going out city sometimes, but honestly, I love that the culture here is everyone's like, yeah, we can go get drinks, but we don't have to get rip-roaring drunk. Where I feel like in the U.S., when you're that 21 age, you start really, everyone's just like, we got to go out and party. And it's funny, I'm only 20, so I can drink here, but when I go back home in the summertime, I can't have a drink.
And it's funny because here you probably don't even want to drink half the time because it's no big deal, and people don't, it's not like, as I say, it's not the kind of the same incentive.
Completely, yeah. In the U.S. too, I just feel like when younger people are exposed to it, they're like, oh, we have to party like a crazy amount. And then here I feel like, yeah, we like to go out on the weekends and stuff, but there's no need to, there's no extra feeling of need, you know.
How do you find not having 72 flavors of water in the supermarket? Are you coping?
I do just fine with it. I am a big just plain water person, so that's never been a huge issue for me, honestly. I do like Coke Zero here. We have like a Coke, like a Diet Coke type thing, but it's harder to find Coke Zero in the U.S., I feel like.
Okay, it's curious though, isn't it? Things that are readily available there that you take for granted.
Completely.
And yet here we have other things that's just not quite the same.
Completely. Beef jerky is another thing.
Yeah,
I really miss a beef jerky sometimes.
One of the big things I noticed that people commented to me were the hair products. You know what hair products you use over there? Not being able to find the same ones here, so you have to find whole new brands.
Definitely. That was something I definitely had to get used to coming here, was I had to figure out what I liked here versus what I like at home, because it's such a hassle to travel both your product or all your products back and forth all the time. But thankfully, I figured out what works for me here.
So tell us a bit about your duties now as student ambassador. What do you do apart from coming to the television and talk on behalf of the student body?
Yeah, this is my first time actually ever being on television, so this is exciting. And but I've gotten to go to a couple really cool networking galas to get to know a lot of the businesses and build connections within the businesses in Marbella and Malaga region, and then bringing them and connecting them with students at the university who, you know, need internships, those types of things, while as also inviting them and giving them the opportunity to connect with our admin and that type of stuff, to do business meetings, those types of things, and maybe visit their actual place of work, see if our students like it, those types of things. And it's really spectacular.
How much have you learned about your fellow students, because there's loads of different, we've got 140 nationalities registered in Marbella, but the university also has such a diverse citizenship.
It's amazing. Our university, if we're counting all of our staff, faculty, and students, we have almost 100 nationalities represented, which is just insane. Like, and it's a relatively small university, so when we're talking about that many different countries being represented in one university, it's just outstanding. And it really is a unique experience that only Marbella could inhibit, I feel like, or it can be a place for.
Do you find that you take the advantage with your companions to ask each other like those sensitive questions? Because I think we all have ideas of how people are, what their countries are like, or their religions, and yet when you actually have that privilege, like in Marbella, that you can have Jewish people with Muslims sitting down with Roman Catholics, and you can all talk about things and realize everything. We all at the end have so much more in common, I think, than we dare to imagine.
Absolutely. Like my friend group alone, we have 2 German Italians, we have a Ukrainian, Norwegian, we've got someone from Myanmar, like very, very diverse friend groups. And that's just my little class here that I consider some of my closer friends. I just think it's really interesting because whether it's religious, ethnic, whatever, just even country to country, everyone comes from different backgrounds, politically, socially, economically. It's something that I've been craving since I was younger in the States, and I finally found that community here.
It's nice to see in the sense of, I love the way the Americans think in some ways. I sent my daughter to university in America because having grown up here, I felt it was important and my son, they have that insight as well to the other side. And it's interesting to see that from there they come over here to see how we do it. But I think it's that comparable, isn't it, that really helps us grow.
Yeah, and I think it's something that's really important, especially for Americans, is because a lot of Americans, the U.S. is so big, of course, that a lot of times people don't get to leave the country, and over half of U.S. citizens don't even have passports, and they never get one in their lifetime. Whereas, people in the European Union and, of course, the UK too as well, it's just crazy. It's so much easier to go country to country. I can catch a Ryanair flight for 30 euros up to London if I really wanted to.
Yeah, it's funny because when I think of the States, it's like we have the whole of American in Europe. I mean, sometimes I actually think just in Spain. You can go from the snowing in the mountains to the arid of the spaghetti western Alma region. It's like we have the whole of your country in this tiny little country of Spain.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that I think is really interesting over here, is you see like the similar climates in different regions of the U.S. and, comparing like latitudes and stuff. I don't mean to make everything about the U.S., but...
Well, that's where you're from. I mean, it's that's, at the moment, give you another year and then it'll all be about Europe.
Oh, it already is, to be honest. It's my second year here and I have fallen in love. I really hope to someday be able to work in the international relations field, and I hope to be able to do some stuff with Europe.
Much longer have you got of your course?
This is my second year, so I have 1 more year of my bachelor's, and then I'm hopefully going to be going up to somewhere in the UK or Scotland area for my master's, but I don't fully know exactly where I'll do my master's yet.
Take it step by step.
Exactly.
And what would you recommend to other kids out there who are thinking they would like to maybe go abroad for university? What would be your call to say that Marbella International University Centre could probably be suitable for them? And
yeah, it's amazing. You get a UK accredited degree because we have this amazing exclusive partnership with the University of West London, and so when we're partnered together, we get an amazing UK accredited degree in Spain, which of course those English degrees are they're weighted right there with American degrees. Like, they're just spectacular education. And, we're getting all of these extra resources also from the University of West London. And I just really recommend anyone who is interested in coming and studying abroad, especially in Spain. We're in a beautiful, beautiful area. Our campus, you see La Concha Mountain right behind us, and then you can look out off our patio and you see the sea. Like, it is just beautiful. And
the food's good.
Oh, the food is so good. Don't get me. I love paella. I am such a big paella fan. But I just think that any student that wants to come here, just take that leap. I know it's nerve-wracking, and I was so nervous when I first came here, and I honestly just felt so welcome because everyone in Marbella is pretty international, and they come here knowing that feeling of being a little bit nervous, not knowing anybody, and so people are a lot more friendly.
And you seem to have just settled in beautifully. The university made you very welcome, make it very easy, don't they, for moving over?
Absolutely.
So lots of pros.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any cons?
Honestly, it's really hard to think of a really solid con. Maybe I took a minute to get used to the sleeping schedule, because I always was an early bird to bed and then wake up early kind of thing. But here, if I wake up early, there's not much going on, you know? And so kind of adjusting to kind of getting your lifestyle, it is a slight shift. But honestly, now that I've adjusted, I have a hard time adjusting back to the U.S. kind of go, go, go thing that is so present in, you know, U.S. work
Marbella
culture.
particularly, with being in the South Coast,
Yes.
is a much
slower in time, and I
slower
love it.
pace.
Yes, and I think it's beautiful. The quality of life here is just so
You get to
much
live
better.
more as opposed to existing, as you say, running through the
Absolutely.
motions.
Absolutely. Like, I think one thing that I remember thinking was when you say, like, oh, what do you do? They're like, oh, I play guitar, I go, and I like to swim, I like to do this, blah, blah, blah. When you ask a Spanish person that, but then when you ask a person in the U.S., what do you do? They're like, I'm a lawyer. I do this, this. And like what they do is less what they do for fun and more, you know, their professional life. And I think that that's a really key aspect of the difference between here. And I think that's one thing I like about our university is they really do a good job of balancing both, of really emphasizing, okay, studies are important, but also having that time to go out and get life experience and have fun and do extracurriculars and all that kind of stuff.
I like it.
Yeah.
Makes so much sense, and that really is it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just run through your life because this is it. We're not
Yeah.
going to get somewhere. This is it. Every step
Yeah.
is how it should be the most beautiful. And you are absolutely enchanting. No wonder you're a student ambassador.
Thank you so
You
much.
represent the university beautifully.
I
It
appreciate
is a beautiful university. If you are thinking of going to study abroad, this would be a place definitely to be on the checkout list.
Absolutely. We got 3 amazing majors. We've got international relations and politics, international business management, and marketing. And then we also have some amazing master's programs as well, same 3 majors. And it's just spectacular. And yeah, if anyone's interested in those things, we definitely recommend. Come visit our campus as well. It's so beautiful.
Wonderful.
Genuinely. You come visit it and you're like, all right, now I have to come.
Exactly. It's got everything. It really is. It's like being in a 5-star luxury hotel.
We've got a pool. We got everything you could want.
Wonderful. Dakota, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much, Nicole.
Hey, hey.
Zero Hero, welcome to Belmari.
Hey, hey. It's a brand new.
Linear Director appreciates just how important our pets are to us. And that's why they brought out one of the most comprehensive insurance policies on the market from just €39.90 a year. Give them a call on 952 147834 or from the website lineardirector.com.
Tiro, ¿no? Ok. Eso por ahí. Este por aquí, a ver, sale bien. No, por ahí. Vale, un poquito por ahí. Apple. Un poquito de agua. ¿Verdad? Ping, ping, ping. Partimos. Very good. La manzanita.
Thank you.
A la primera, ¿no? Vale.
Mocktail.
Listo.
Zero Hero, welcome to the Sister Restaurant.
Hey, hey.
You just never know who you're sitting next to in Marbella. Well, the other day I was taking a little stroll and I was grabbed by this lovely gentleman called Ted who wanted to promote his wife, Antoinette. And I think she's going to take over from my position as being famous for the hair in Marbella, because when you check out this colour, Antoinette, thank you for coming to the programme.
Oh, okay.
And I see I've got competition now with that beautiful hair.
Thank you very much.
But it's funny how suddenly people seem to know it's me, because in a crowd they look, oh, the curls, there's Nicole.
Yeah.
But now they're going to see that beautiful colour hair. It's like, okay, there's Antoinette.
People recognize me on my hair.
Yeah,
that's right.
It makes sense. And I love your look, very in keeping with you as an artist.
Thank you.
You
Thank
are a very
All
artistic
compliments.
artist. And you're very sweet, very nice, and I'm delighted to welcome you on the programme so we can share with the viewers a little bit about what you do. Because you have a very cool way of teaching people to paint with this Bob Ross method, who is a very good painter. I don't know if you watched him on television or on the YouTube, but he has a great way of painting great pictures simply, and you teach that. So I think that's a beautiful concept just there.
Yes, that's right. I teach the people how to paint, and especially in the style of Bob Ross. And Bob Ross was on television for many, many, many years. And I was always looking at that program till late in the night. And I thought, I wanna learn that. And I had some teachers who were professional Bob Ross certified instructors, and they teach me a lot of things. And now I teach people here in Marbella and everywhere how to do the Bob Ross paintings.
So you didn't paint yourself before. This was something you learned and then realised how good you got, that you could then share this with others.
No, I did art school, but they didn't teach Bob Ross at art school.
Oh, no. But what is it special about his concept that makes it, that you like it so much and want to share it?
It's easy. It's easy. Everybody can do that method of painting, and when you encourage people how to do it, and I paint a little bit, and then I paint. They do the same. Then the sea, first the sky, then the sea. You have a special method, and I help the people and correct a little bit if they want. Sometimes they don't want it, but that's okay. And
but it's nice to know how to correct things as well.
Yeah.
It's part of the whole experience, learning the different techniques and things you can do. So
it's not really necessary to correct it, because Bob Ross always said there are no mistakes, just happy accidents. So people don't want to be corrected, and but it's nice. People say, "Oh, how amazing! Oh, how amazing! Oh, beautiful! Oh, I thought I never can paint," or they think you have to draw before you can paint, but that's not true. It's very easy.
So what kind of materials do you use in your workshops?
Acrylic paint, because...
That's good.
Yeah.
Dries quickly.
Dries very quickly, especially here on the Costa del Sol. But we do the workshops, especially in hotels. And the people who do the workshop, they want to take it with them. So when you use the oil paint, it dries in 2 or 3 weeks, and maybe they leave the next day. So that's why we do the acrylic paint.
I think that's great. When I was a little girl, I mentioned in the Melia Don Pepe, we used to spend all afternoons and mornings with Mr. Schmear, we called him, because also we'd put little dots of paint on and then we'd smear it with our hands, and then with the bottom of the paintbrush we'd carve out the little boats. But again, it was a method that meant we could actually produce some pretty spectacular artwork, which I think is lovely, because everybody leaves your workshops with a work of art.
With a work of art, but it's not for children. I think,
No, for adults.
For adults, yeah, that's right.
No, I think it's a lovely concept, and doing it in the hotels is great. And we just introduced Antoinette to the lovely ambassador of the students for the Marbella International University, because we think that's a great place as well. If you have a place that you would like Antoinette to come and set up a workshop, let us know.
Yes.
Because it's,
That's
you could
what
do it
we
for
do.
parties.
Yeah, parties.
And also what a great thing for business team building
Yes,
initiatives
that's
as well.
right.
No, get everybody together painting. And
Yeah.
I think there are
That's
loads
right.
of good reasons to get together for painting.
Always. But it's nice to do together. And if
Birthday
people want, we
parties?
have some. Sir?
Do you do birthday parties?
Of
and
course,
things?
every party. Yeah.
You like to party?
Yes.
That was kind of like a necessary question. You can say this.
Yes. And we provide wigs if people want, the especially
So you can look like Bob Ross?
wig, and of course aprons, and that changes the people. They have the wigs on and the apron and the brushes, and then they start. They feel like an artist.
I think it's a really, really beautiful concept. I love to paint, but how nice when someone can guide you through that you can then actually create a lovely painting while you're at the workshop, and a nice way to meet people and like-minded people. And as I say, it could be a great way to do a birthday party or to do a business team building event. So if you would like to do something like that, please do contact Antoinette. She'd be delighted to hear from you, because she and her husband have been here, what, 4 months? That's it. You're newbies. You're completely brand new.
Completely new.
And they need to meet people, and they need to get involved. We need to help them get involved.
Yeah, that's right. And for example, in restaurants, people restaurant is opens at 6, for example, and in the during the day you can organize a painting workshop, something like that for the special guest of sports groups or something.
Definitely. We definitely have to get the word out. Everyone share the word that Antoinette is here. 4 months in, and you've originally come from the Netherlands.
From the Netherlands, yeah.
Had you been to Marbella before you moved out here?
Yes, we visited a lot of places around Marbella, and finally we end up in Nueva Atalaya. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Exactly. Well, I'm sure you're both going to be exceedingly happy here.
Yes.
And we look forward to seeing more of you. And yes, just lots of luck to you, and please book in your workshop for painting now.
Now.
Zero Heroes, welcome to Gusto y Fantasía.
Linear Director has come up with a squatter policy for just €24 a year. You don't have to have your home insurance with them. This is a completely separate matter to protect you from squatters. For more information, call 952 147834 or their website, lineardirector.com.
Zero Hero, welcome to Canada! Yay!
Regular viewers of the programme will know that we support the Zero Hero initiative, rewarding designated drivers with free soft drinks. Well, one of the very first restaurants to join in this initiative was El Gaucho Banús. And one of the very first people to stand in front of the restaurant and say, Zero Heroes, welcome here, is my next guest, Sebastian, who is the manager of El Gaucho Banús. How nice to see you. Encantada verte por una vez aquí en mi casa.
Muchas gracias.
I'm always
Encantado.
going to the restaurant to record, but it's nice to have you here. Gracias por venir. Sé que está corriendo entre llevando los niños y esto, pero vale la pena venir a lucir
es un
vuestro
placer.
pedazo de restaurante. Enhorabuena. Sobrevivir en Puerto Banús. Surviving in Puerto Banús, chapeau.
Sí.
Todo un reto, ¿no?
Llevamos ya 12 años.
Alucinante. 12 years already.
Ya, desde 2014. Y la verdad que hemos pasado crisis, pandemias, hemos pasado de todo.
Crisis,
y no hemos ido,
pandemia. I mean, and I remember living it when everything was going through, everything
y nos hemos
closed.
ido adaptando a todo bien y haciendo cosas siempre, innovando todos los años para nuestro público, que todos los años cuando venga en temporada encuentren cosas nuevas y de mejor calidad.
So what Sebastian's saying is that obviously they've been going now nearly 14 years, but every single year they're always looking to make things new, fresh, exciting, not just for the local residents, but when that tourist influx comes in, that they know they're going to go to Gaucho Banús for something special. El restaurante se centra en carnes. Meat is your thing. Yes. And good wine y buen vino, ¿no?
Eso es. Este año hemos optado por una presentación de nueva temporada 2025 en el Gaucho de Puerto Banús, haciendo un viaje gastronómico sin salir del puerto por diferentes países del mundo y pudiendo probar diferentes razas de mejores calidades.
Well, they're doing a world tour of meats in the Gaucho for this year, and what it entails, been kind of a pun there, going to different countries by tasting all the different meats that come from the different countries. So that's interesante, ¿no? Es un concepto nuevo, a new concept.
Puedes probar sin salir del Gaucho las diferentes procedencias del Black Angus argentino, Aberdeen Angus irlandés.
So you've got the Black Angus from Argentina, the Aberdeen Angus from Scotland.
Ireland, eso es, y Black Angus de Kansas, de Estados Unidos.
And the Kansas one.
Yes.
Hemos tenido una chiquita aquí antes de Dakota que está estudiando en la universidad y le encanta la comida aquí.
Sí.
The young lady was just here who loves the food in Spain coming from the States.
También
¿Sabe muy diferente?
Sí.
Is the taste very different?
Claro, cada animal, al proceder de un país diferente, el alimento que come lo traduce en el sabor que tiene la carne y su textura.
Wow, apparently, well, I mean, it makes sense. The different foods the different animals eat in the different countries affects the texture of the meat. Que uno más fuerte, más...
No, te comento. Por ejemplo, el Black Angus tradicional argentino, nuestro, viene de una ganadería rioplatense, Black Ranch, en el que el cereal autóctono de Argentina es la gramínea. Eso tiene un alto oleico, omega 6, con grasas no saturadas, y tienen una infiltración espectacular en la
I was giving a lot of detailed information here in Spanish, simplified in English. A lot of omega-6 in the Argentine.
La gramínea es lo principal que toma.
And it's the grains that they eat sí. that has this high omega-6 thing, which obviously gives it this wonderful flavor and makes it so special. Curioso de que hay eso como en los vinos, que también hay esos diferentes conceptos en la carne. Strange to have that concept in me. I never thought about it.
De Irlanda, por ejemplo, como tiene los pastos fríos, el animal también, y son animales un poquito más mayores de edad, de unos 5 años, de Argentina son 2 años, de Irlanda unos 5 años, y entonces el pasto frío hace que el animal infiltre grasa para poder asimilar también la temperatura y el pasto.
Oh wow, and as it's colder in Ireland, the Angus there is like more greasy because it's colder, and so the cow is holding on to their fats.
Eso es.
Very curious.
Y from Kansas, el animal termina comiendo en régimen extensivo en el campo cereales como el maíz, y en el que le hace también un sabor totalmente diferente y un toque más dulzón a la carne.
And it's funny because it's saying like the Argentinian Angus is at 2-year-old, the 5-year-old in Ireland, but then in Kansas, because they're grazing in an open field, is that it's a completely different flavour. Even sweet, perhaps, would be the connotation. Fascinante, fascinating. ¿A ti te gusta la carne? You a big meat eater?
Por supuesto.
Bueno, no sé, sí. Pero va a ser vegano ahí.
Yeah. También tenemos, este año hemos propuesto con la raza Wagyu lo mismo, en el que tenemos 3 denominaciones, las más importantes a nivel internacional.
And they're also doing a selection of the Wagyu meats as well, so fabulous. La que a mí más me gusta es no solamente que tenéis las buenísimas carnes, pero es la patata asada,
sí.
Tan difícil conseguir hoy en día,
sí.
Nice jacket potatoes, because it's not just the amazing quality of the meats at Gaucho Banús, it's the huge jacket potatoes, the sweet corn, las empanadas, I mean, it's like everything.
Toda la cocina tradicional que tenemos es la argentina, está basada pues en recetas hechas de la familia de Humberto, que es el propietario, sobre todo de su madre y de su abuela, y en el que se han ido pasando por generaciones entre familia, y entonces hemos llegado hasta Puerto Banús.
Well, it's amazing because the secret behind the deliciousness of the food in Gaucho Banús is because Humberto, who's the owner, together with his lovely wife Noelia, it's his mother's recipes, and so these recipes have been passed down through the families, and we get homemade Argentinian food right in Gaucho Banús, but very 5-star style.
Yeah.
Todo lujo, with all those huge boats opposite. So it's a beautiful view as well while you're dining. Pues encantado de verte,
Muchas gracias.
Sebastián, y gracias por ser Zero Hero Venue. Thank you for being a Zero Hero Venue.
Muchas
Desde día uno, since day one. So, and muchas gracias, Noelia and Alberto. Thank you, Humberto and Noelia. And now, shall we welcome on quickly your marketing manager? Vamos a decir hola, Alejandro.
Claro que sí, Alejandro.
We're going to meet the marketing manager, because it's always nice to meet the marketing manager. But if you're going to have a meal at Gaucho Banús, Sebastián is your man. Check out for him and he'll get you a really nice table and make sure you're well looked after. And by the art of television magic, Sebastián has turned into Alejandro. Hello, Alejandro.
Hello, it's so nice to finally meet you.
It's nice to meet you too. Important aspect of a restaurant business is the marketing. And
Definitely.
the Gaucho Group has La La La, Pico Banús, you got the ice cream parlor.
We did have the ice cream
Oh, so you don't have the ice creams anymore?
We don't, but it's for a good reason.
Okay.
We actually closed that one to expand Pico. So now it's going to be very improved, very new, much bigger,
Oh,
new
I'm
menu.
delighted for you, because I mean the ice cream was nice, but you can still sell ice cream in the expanded Pico. I
Exactly.
love Pico. One of my favorite dishes is they do this great chicken dish with this sauce, and it's just, I don't know if it's got something addictive in it, but I like even just seeing you, and it's like I'm drooling. I feel like Homer Simpson.
It's very good, very good.
Really
We do
good.
have lots of paellas, lots of rices, which is part of the new menu as well. And those are very, very good. So that's definitely something
And
to
also
try.
good meats. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a different style than going into the Gaucho Argentinian next door. But you do have the Pico Banús, and then you have next door the Gaucho, but it's completely
Exactly.
different, but the quality is exceptional.
Very different, but very unique at the same time.
And
So that's
Pico's-
the one good thing about it.
The Gaucho's relaxed, and the Pico's a little bit more elegant. It's more funky.
Exactly,
It's a lot more
yes.
like Osea.
More
getting out
fun, more for the younger people, I
exactly,
would say.
getting out those
Exactly.
selfies and doing the pictures and the cocktails.
Exactly.
And,
Well,
yeah.
I would say that's more for La La La. La La La, it's very fun. We have a DJ now coming every day.
Oh, lovely.
So, yes. In
And
the
you open, what
terrace.
time do you open? La La La, Gaucho and Pico Banús are the huge boat side of Puerto Banús.
Yes.
And then you go all the way down the other side. La 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 is the only place that has a
Exactly.
little terrace out there. Right
Exactly.
front line of the boats. I mean, that's quite unique.
For now, it's the only one, but it's very nice, that's for sure. We have a DJ coming every day. We have music. Sometimes we have like violins. We have a piano. We have a little bit of everything.
What time do you
sometimes.
open La La in the mornings? Or
La La La, I believe it opens up at 11 a.m.
Wonders you can get a nice brunch
Exactly.
and then go
Coffee.
shopping, and then you stop for lunch at a Gaucho, and then you carry on shopping, and then go for dinner to Pico Banús, and you kind of
Exactly.
done the day.
Exactly. That's what we always do. You have to do the whole train. You go to La 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 for a cocktail in the terrace. You enjoy all the nice views, and then you go for dinner at Pico or Gaucho.
Exactly. I mean, it really just makes sense. And I have to say, as I was saying to them, I'm so proud of Humberto and Noelia, because any business in Puerto Banús is hard to succeed. Most of them close for the summer, but these guys have, for the whole time they've been open, the whole year
Exactly.
through crisis, through COVID, and they certainly deserve our support, because it's a young family. And I think it's really nice that it's a family business.
Exactly.
And those are the people that we need to support, particularly when they support us. They were one of the very first Zero Hero venues.
Yes.
And I'm very much looking forward for Alejandro speaking to Natalie, who's taking over as project manager. I'm going to be helping Johnny Gates, who's volunteering, to get that going. Because it's nice to see how many businesses care about the clients. It's not just money. You know, you want the
Exactly.
residents, you want the tourists, but you also want the locals. And it's a
Exactly.
nice way of getting them involved.
Yes, it's more of getting involved with the clients, making new friends, meeting new people. I mean, that's the whole thing. That's like a whole experience. You're not just coming for the food, you're coming for the whole Puerto Banús experience.
Exactly. Where are you from originally, Alejandro?
I'm from here, Spain, but I was raised in the United States.
Oh, nice. So you got the perfect combination.
Yes, exactly.
Wonderful. Well, lovely to meet you.
Very nice to meet you too.
Congratulations to Gaucho. Lovely that we can travel the world with all kinds of different meets, but also just with the Gaucho group, you can travel around Puerto Banús. Gaucho, Pico Banús, and La La La.
Exactly. You have meats, you have seafood, you have cocktails, you have everything.
You
there.
have everything.
Exactly.
Exactly. Best quality, and everyone's so nice. And I think that is what makes really is the coup d'etat.
All the
pièce de
staff,
resistance.
everyone, they're very friendly. That's one of the good things about it.
Yeah, and regular viewers will know these three restaurants, because every single week you can see them saying, Zero Hero, welcome to Gaucho Banús, Pico Banús, and La La La.
Exactly,
So,
exactly.
Exactly. Lovely to promote you on the program. And next
Thank
time
you so
we'll
much
see
for
you
having
there.
us. Yes,
It's
definitely
like-
not going to be the last one, that's for
definitely
sure.
not, definitely not.
That's
Alejandra,
good.
encantada, thank you.
Encantado as well, nice
And
to
I hope
meet
you enjoy your job, because I know it's quite new, and I'm
Pretty
sure you're
new,
going to have
yes.
lots of fun. Best of luck.
Most fun, yes.
Hey, hey.
Zero Hero, welcome here at the Gaucho de Banús.
Zero Heroes.
Welcome to Vigo Banús.
Zero Hero, welcome to Sunday.
Zero Hero, welcome to Hard Rock Hotel Marbella.
Hey, hey.
I am delighted to welcome back to the programme Alice Crimini. She is the editor and the brain behind 55 Plus Wellness magazine, which is a very well received magazine, probably because we have like 20% of the population is over 65 on the Costa del Sol, which is over 270,000 odd people who are interested in services for the over 65. And you really, they say old age is after 55, so that doesn't make me feel very good.
Right? Yeah.
It's weird how these ages that are maybe 55 in the old days was old, but I don't feel
I
old.
think, yeah, and I think a lot of different, even countries and cultures are determining when is old differently. I think in some cases it's over 50, over 55 is in the magazine, but some are 60 and 65. So I think as well, a lot of research kind of like we know that in your 50s, your life is so much different to in your 70s. So some of the research looks at people over in their 60s and beyond. Like from a lot of the research I've done with a magazine, for example, 70% of people aged over 60 prefer their health information in print. You know, what about the people in their 50s? I mean, people are more maybe tech literate, but I know a lot of people like to print out things anyway.
I prefer. I mean, I'm that age group.
Yeah.
And I think it's true. Anyone who is 55 up, I would say we would prefer to hold the magazine, book, newspaper, whatever it is. I want to look at it. I like to read a book. I know it sounds weird. I like to smell the pages, not actually smell them, but I like that feel, the aroma, that whole experience of the printed material. And your magazine actually feels and smells really nice. Which
does it? Someone smelled it. They sent me a video the other day. They're like, hot off the press. I was like, wow, okay, I haven't done that yet. Maybe I should have.
But it is magazines and things that have a different, I suppose, and also you could tell if a magazine's over-chemicaled.
Yes.
There's a lot of different aspects to printing, aren't there?
Yeah, and it has a presence. It sits on the coffee table. Different people read on it, and that's lovely.
Issue. I mean, there is so much information
in this one.
Yes.
Yeah. This one's very info-packed, and again, that's because of my history in publishing was in academic journals, so I love like disseminating real information. I don't want it to just be like fluff articles, although there'll probably be a few of those as well, like recipes and things like that. But what I really want to do with this magazine is impart, preventative healthcare solutions, connect people with local service providers and, whatever I can really. But the key components are like empowering and educational. But to add to what you were saying about the percentages of the aging population, Spain itself is one of the oldest populations in the world. We've just had the Euro-American Silver Economy Congress in Malaga, and they declared Malaga the Silver Economy capital. Because it's such a strong demographic here. So a lot of big companies, local governments, University of Malaga, also University of Miami, they all met to discuss the opportunities and risks that come with an aging population. I was just having a discussion with someone here about, we're living longer.
We're living longer. We have great health care. We live in one of the blue zones, Mediterranean diet and enough vitamin D. But we are also living in poor health for longer. So, you know, we need to look at preventative health care. There are a lot more health conditions that come with aging. You know, and there's side effects from medications and things like that that we don't see until the population ages. So what I wanted to do with the magazine is offer alternatives. Yeah, I want, you know, medical doctors in here as well, giving the latest trends and, you know, where we're at with AI, with diagnosis and stuff like that. Everything's changing. But I want people to be able to find alternatives way to heal and improve their day-to-day lives.
I think it's absolutely fabulous. You are obviously a very top professional. The quality of the magazine, the content is excellent. And I don't say that to everyone, because you can't say that to everyone. But it really is. And I'm also delighted that 55 Plus Wellness Magazine are going to be lead sponsors in the United Nationalities of Marbella Summit, that this year is all about consolidating support services for the elderly, particularly when you're at home and you're elderly and you're not well. Who's going to look after you? And this is a big issue, because we do have nursing services, but not everyone can afford them. Not everybody knows, if you suddenly need oxygen, what to do. There are so many questions that people come up with, so we want to consolidate a point of reference where everyone can look to get the services, also consolidate the services that are out there where people can get help and information. But it's worrying, isn't it? I mean, you looked after your mummy for 20 years. So even if you're loaded with money, there are 90% of it you have to do yourself. So I say not knowing your situation, but even if you were multi-billionaires, if you're looking after somebody, the personal stress, I imagine also your health physically, psychologically, there's so many aspects involved, aren't there?
Yeah, I mean, when you're a family member doing it yourself, I mean, you're really in, you know, you're lost, you're in a wilderness, and, you know, you don't know what way to turn. So I think when they started, you know, for example, in England, the disability cuts, I think that was like 2009, 10, when they had that crash then, and they started cutting, you know, welfare for people, and they talked about how third sector would be much more active in supporting the most vulnerable in our society. So third sector being the charities and, you know, just the support organisations, and it won't come from government anymore or through private funding, because, you know, it is so expensive. But I mean, my mum in England, she had funding, but it still wasn't enough to cover the level of care she needed. What we weren't prepared for is the way that, for example, the care assessments weren't done in the right way to fully assess her need, to then give her the budget she needed. If she had, she would have been beyond their scope of budget anyway. And because of that, they were trying their best to actually put her in a retirement home in her 50s, you know, so just was, you know, nightmare for her. And she wanted to die in her own home, so all the things that come with that. And I wanted her to, you know, live her final days, which was actually still another 10 years after that before she died, but you know, where she wanted to die, with dignity, you know, what dignity really means. And I think as well, when you're dealing with, for example, when I was dealing with social services, the word dignity was kind of thrown around a lot, but it was kind of like a smokescreen, because there wasn't anything dignified happening at all. But, you know, actually, when you're talking about consolidating care here, which we mentioned last time, the language barrier, my next issue of the magazine is on multiple sclerosis, and we'll talk about care in that as well. So I've been looking at multiple sclerosis in the area. How, you know, where does someone go to if they have MS? Who do they call? And there are a few different organisations, but I won't name the organisation I contacted on that occasion. But when I did, I said, "Hola, habla inglés?" ? And they blocked me. And this is a support charity.
They panicked.
And I thought, wow, imagine I was this person really needing help, you know? And I just said, "Do you speak English?" And they block you.
Unfortunately, this is one of the issues that we will be addressing at the United Nationalities. That I don't think any one charity perhaps can afford to hire a Spanish speaker, but I think between all of them, they can, because then they need something. I remember when the Red Cross very kindly offered us the services that when we were doing the suicide prevention campaigns, and they told me that how we could do the English thing, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try it myself first, just to see what happened. I wanted to throw myself off a balcony. I mean, it was just the most painful experience. First, there was a 45-second recording in Spanish that went into another recording in Spanish, and again, then when I got through, I thought, well, won't say anything. I'll see what happens. If I was feeling bad, I probably wouldn't say, hi, I'm feeling suicidal, so I thought I'd give it a go. And it was also very, so I really do think that one of the things we can do, based on we're in Spain and they're not expected to speak English, is look for the solutions between us, and this is one of the topics. And based on it being such an important topic, I'm delighted to confirm the British Chamber of Commerce are involved, the Mijas Town Hall also are involved, because we're doing the whole Costa del Sol this year as opposed to Marbella.
Brilliant.
And the age concern, Mijas in that area, and from down Marbella, San Pedro. So if you have one of these groups or associations and you're feeling this need, please do contact us, because we want to hear from you.
Yeah, it's an incredible initiative. It's like you say, like the streamlining, connecting everyone together. You know, people don't necessarily know what the agency down the road does, and maybe they have an English speaker. Maybe there's someone that can help with translation between agencies.
Exactly.
But I mean, you know, no one should be expected to speak English, but we also shouldn't expect to leave someone completely unsupported. There should be like an afterthought of like, no, I don't, but someone else can, and I'm going to connect you with them. But you know, also a lot of these charities they're volunteer based. You know,
90% are volunteer based, and 90% of them are volunteers, which is why you maybe get a Spanish speaker who would volunteer to do some calls, but you can't expect them to be sitting there from
who may be disabled
9
themselves.
till 2 to be able to then do it. So I think there are some things that if there were paid staff, it would make a little bit of difference, and a lot of charities as well. We're going to look and see what the overlappings are, and hopefully then put in the solutions, and then inform everybody what's out there. Because again, that's another dilemma, is how to let everybody know, particularly in a transitional city like Marbella, when people come and go all the time, is very difficult. So we need those residents and the locals and all the different places.
Everyone needs to work together. So
it goes well.
I think it's going to be a hit, and you know, can really change the game for the outcome for people here. That, you know, when you speak to people, you know, age concern, for example, and hear about these families that have to pack up and leave their homes because they just weren't ready for, you know, A, B, and C to happen. And they're not ready for what happens when they get home and have to start again from zero. And
because going home isn't what they think. A lot of the time is, I'm going to go back to England. You get there, and you don't have the infrastructure, you don't have all the things that you were counting on. It's
aside from the weather change, I mean, it can, you know, it's quite a big shock, isn't it, to the system. We get so much good health from the sun we get here, even though it's been gone for a couple of months now. But, you know, to then lose that health benefit that we moved here for in the first place.
And it's so social. Particularly for, there is a lot of activities for people who are older. It's really quite wonderful. I mean, we're absolutely blessed.
Spoiled.
So, exactly. So we just need to keep our health together so we can make the most of it.
And just planning ahead, you know, and getting that information disseminated. You know, I'd like to think the magazine will help with that kind of thing. Same with the Congress meeting I went to last week. You know, there were doctors talking about dementia and mentioning how 40% of cases in a study were all preventable. You know, and when we're just not having those conversations enough, and it's all pretty obvious stuff. It's lifestyle. It's, you know, what are we doing every day? What are we ingesting? You know, what are we exposing ourselves to? Are we sleeping well? All these.
We're moving. That's a big one, isn't it? Because I know that once we get older, the less you move, the less you can move. Very important to keep the body moving, walking, something, anything.
And the mind. And
the
so,
mind,
but that's again where we're spoilt here, and people are living longer here because they have access to all these things. But it's how to just, you know, curb those health conditions that might be really, you know, debilitating, and will really change our lives and expectations and what we need around us. I think it's good to think about what happens, like who is going to care for me, who is going to be here, you know, will they be able to do it, you know, write something, legal document, if we're thinking about incapacity, you know, as dementia does kind of take its course, for example, because if we don't have that planning there, then all those decisions are made for us, including who's around us and, you know, our family or not. So
exactly, decisions will be made even if they're not yours.
Yeah.
So try and get it in quickly. We're always talking about this, so it's great to have you reminding everybody.
Yeah, and well, I hope...
delighted with, I'd say, the new magazine. I've read it from cover to cover and I'm very impressed.
It's a great
very
issue.
Informative. It's definitely a good source of information and complementary to everything that we have and right on target.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought there was no magazine specific to the
I couldn't believe I pinched myself like 10 times when I was researching this, and that's how I found out about, you know, this Congress meeting as well. I was thinking, well, what is there? And there's lots of things. But I just couldn't believe there was something really to just bring people together and represent everyone in this way, because, you know, there's magazines, but I saw a lady reading a magazine the other week and I was just like, why are you reading that?
Well,
you need to read this, it's got everything in here for you.
Exactly, you heard the lady, that's what you need to do. Well, you are with undeniably our 55 plus specialist, and really grateful for you taking time to come in and share your magazine and your information, and for supporting United Nationalities.
Oh, I'm so honoured.
20th of May.
Yeah,
get booking in quickly if you feel this is something you can contribute to, because we really value your opinions, your input, so then together we can take action.
Yeah, make a difference.
Exactly, definitely make a difference.
Thank you so much, Nicole.
Thank
you,
you,
boy.
Alice. You're so welcome.
Oh, stop. So cute. Thank you.
Well, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. You can watch recordings of the programme from the rtvmarbella.tv website. You can also go to my website, nicoleking.es, and you have a link through to the programme, also to my Marbella Moments column in the Euro Weekly News, and our Zero Hero website, rewarding the designated driver, an ever-increasing list of venues where you can get free soft drinks if you are the designated driver, and also take advantage of our lottery, which means if you spend over 20 euros in any of the participating venues, anyone, whether you drink or not, can win a lottery ticket and prizes to have meals, drinks and all kinds of great things in the participating restaurants, bars and hotels. That's it for now. Take care of yourselves, be nice to each other, and I look forward to seeing you again next week for more of what's going on in Marbella right now.
You feel it's gonna go your